Hi, this is Dina for Splitcoaststampers. In this tutorial, I will share several techniques for making wreaths on your cards. The main thing you'll need for all these methods is a stamp positioner, and I'll show you how you can speed up or enhance the process using some different tools and templates too. I'm starting off with just the basics here using a square panel in the MISTI, and I'm working with stamps from Gina K Designs Wreath Builder set. You can use any size square of cardstock to do this technique. I've got my stamp positioned where I want my wreath to sit. It's about 1 inch in from the edge. I'm going to stamp that image, and then when I have that done, I'm going to rotate the panel 90 degrees and stamp again. And then I'll repeat that 2 more times so that I have 4 images stamped. I found this to be a lot easier with smaller ink pads because of these tiny images. And these are the mini premium dye ink pads from Colorbox. Next, I'm going to clean off my stamp and I'll reposition it between 2 of the stamped images. And then I can repeat the same process to fill in this portion of the wreath. So with this method, each ring of the wreath can have 8 elements, or I could have squeezed 2 flowers in between those initial 4 to have 12 flowers around the wreath. From there, I'm just going to repeat the process to fill in my wreath, and you can stamp more than 1 image at a time to make things go a little faster too. On this card, I did go in with some colored pencils and added a little shading to the leaves. And then to finish it up, I stamped over the more delicate flowers to add balance and added a little doodling on the turquoise flowers. The sentiment on this card is from the Gina K set as well. So I've mentioned Gina K's Wreath Builder system a couple of times, and these are the templates that she has created to make easy and beautiful 8-sided wreaths. These are designed to center wreaths on either a 3 3/4 inch or 4 inch square panel. There are 2 different sizes in the kit, and the benefit of these is not having to reposition stamps after 4 repetitions like I did in my first sample. I'm going to use the 4-inch template, and then I have a 4-inch square of cardstock that I'm going to stamp. And the technique is the same here as I showed before, except with the template I can rotate the panel 45 degrees each time instead of 90 degrees, and I'll have 8 images stamped with a complete turn around the template. I'm just going to go ahead and speed this up for the rest of my stamping because isn't that fun? It's so cool to see the wreath build up like that, and I do wish I could actually stamp that fast. And here's the finished card. I cut a circle out of the middle and I layered the sentiment behind the panel. And this next card is similar, but I actually had a little happy accident while I was stamping. I lost track of my corner when I was going around, so I ended up skipping an image, and I thought I would just go with that and pretend that I meant to do it that way. And this turns out to be a nice way to frame a sentiment. Just a tip if you do an incomplete wreath like this. On this card, I did reposition a couple of the leaves to stamp just at the end on both sides to balance out the design. I mentioned that the templates are designed to center wreaths on a 3 3/4 inch or 4-inch panel, but you can use them for other sizes. Just remember that the wreath won't be centered on your panel. It will center to the corner. For this card, I have a 5 1/2 inch square, and I started by marking one corner with a pencil, and that will be the corner that I align to the template each time I rotate the panel, and that's very important to remember. One other thing to note is that when that corner gets to the side of your positioner opposite the hinges, the opposite corner of the panel is going to have to tuck out through the opening on the hinge side of your positioner. Otherwise, it's going to either bend or be in the way. A nice thing about having an offset wreath on a larger panel is that you have more options for cropping the panel for your card front. Here I cropped it to the upper right hand corner and colored in the sections with Copic markers. Another way that you can create a wreath with your stamp positioner is to use a geometric die cut shape. And this will work with any regular polygon shape. I have a hexagon shape here that works really well. You might have pentagons or octagons, and of course we've done the squares already. For this card, I'm going to use a layering set, and I just kind of eyeballed the position here. I want these pine cones to be hanging off the edges of my panel instead of creating a ring in the center. And the thing to remember when you rotate the panel is that you always want this shape in the same position each time you turn it. So in this case, I have a flat side against the bottom and a point touching to the right. And here's the completed card. I did some sponging and random stamping around the edge, and I was careful to cover up the smudge that I made in the middle. One more technique and resource that I wanted to share are these templates that you will find linked on our site. These were created by Split Coast member Cindy Stamps, and there are 4 different shapes. The hexagon and octagon have circles marked inside the outline, and those ones are designed to help you stamp around a circle die cut. I'm going to line up the template in my stamp positioner, and then I'll use the inside lines to determine the best position for my sentiment stamp so I can stamp it in a ring without big gaps. And then since I'm using a clear stamp, I can shape it to the curve of the template. And then all I need to do is cut a circle that is about the same size as the one in the template. And I'll use the lines there to center it on the template, and I'll use a little bit of removable adhesive to keep it in place. And then I can stamp it just like I did in the last example, rotating the template each time. So those templates are a great resource, and there are more videos to help you use them in the My Sweet Petunia forum on splitcoaststampers.com. For this card, I pulled out the pine cones again, and I was able to use one of my techniques to stamp 4 of them on a larger square of cardstock for die cutting. So here's that finished card with the pine cones and some stenciling in the center. I've given you a lot of information here, so I hope that you're feeling inspired to try some wreath stamping. There are so many possibilities, and I can't wait to see what you create. Thank you so much for watching.